The following information is the first-person experience of an unexplained event which happened in the area of the Chernobyl disaster, also known as the Zone. Documented by the stalker nicknamed Navigator. After spending a few months in the zone, everyone in our group had collected some valuables. We needed a safe house to keep our equipment. It was too heavy to carry it with us the whole time. It was too risky to leave something behind in a random stash, and it was too essential to sell it. The problem of leaving something behind the camp is, as seen from personal experience, you cannot trust people who are not your close friends, even if you are in the same faction as them. In fact, that is exactly how some of the army equipment randomly disappears and later can be found on the market, or in some stalkers' hands, for a fair price of course. We were at the bar in Rostock, looking at the detailed map I acquired a month ago from some mercenary who traded it for some anti-rads. And my friend Coin thinks he is the businessman in the group. I knew about the settlement, referred to as Dead City. I have never been there, and as far as I know, no stalkers visit there. The area is dangerous. From the information I gathered, it is populated by a merc squad and a large bandit group with their leader. No idea what they do there and why they work together, and it is none of my interest to find out. The important thing is that their reputation in that place keeps curious stalkers away. That is one good location to find a hideout and a safe house. We were not going into the city itself. There are enough small buildings in the nearby area around it. The idea was to check what the buildings are and if they are safe. We left most of our equipment in the usual place at Rostock, and we took only what we needed for the mission. The guns with enough ammo, medicine supplies, food, and some artifacts with protective effects. In 2 hours we were 2 kilometers away from the Dead City, far away enough not to be spotted, and we went to the nearby buildings to look inside. The first building was almost empty. It was not safe to make a camp, too much of an open space. The building next to it, however, looked good enough, even though it was obvious no one had been here in years. We explored the place and found a basement, a small room with some furniture, which seemed perfect for what we needed. The most out-of-place object in the room was an old computer on the table. No sign of anyone visiting the place soon, maybe in years. We decided to use the basement as our hideout. We could easily make it livable with the furniture found in the buildings. If you want to make a hideout, make it as comfortable as possible. There is no reward for making things difficult for yourself. However, that was job for tomorrow. Now we needed to go back to Rostock and pick up the rest of our equipment. No reason for all of us going. What was left is not too much or too heavy. 2 men could carry it here without a problem. Therefore, the group asked me if I wanted to stay here and look around the nearby area. Maybe there is something interesting to be found while they go back for the equipment. That sounded like a good plan. They left the hideout and I went to explore around. Not long after, I experienced a minor headache. Maybe it is from the excitement, nothing to worry about. I walked for a few minutes expecting the headache will be gone with some fresh air, but no, it got worse. Maybe it is best to leave the exploring for later and go back in the safe house to lie down for an hour. Inside the room something caught my attention. There was a light bulb. I looked around the room for the switch, and I found it and turned it on. The light was working. Amazing! We even had electricity. I wondered if the computer works too. I pushed the power button, and the computer powered up. That I did not expect to happen. I ignored the headache for a moment and looked what was on the computer. I found some very strange things, documents describing the operation of the nearby building. It used to be a food manufacturing factory. Reports on some chemicals that made crops grown in radioactive environments safe to consume. Documents confirming that the modified food was distributed to the residents in the nearby city. And medical reports on how people's metabolism adapted to the food after eating it for a long period of time. All of the documents were dated between 2003 and 2006. Truly terrifying information, but the strangest of all was a text file left on the desktop, simply named A Warning. I opened the file and I read, "We are Sin, the mistake of the zone. You are an intruder. You should not be here. You must leave." The motivation to explore the place was completely gone, and the headache was getting worse. I had no choice but to sit down, try to rest as much as I can, and wait for my friends. Something was wrong with this place, and I did not like the feeling of uneasiness. I closed my eyes and attempted to rest. My head felt like it was going to explode. I did not feel when I have fallen asleep, and I have no idea how long I was sleeping. I woke up hungry and thirsty. There was no sign of my friends coming back that night. Maybe they decided to spend the night at the bar and not travel through the zone at night. Smart decision. The first thing I had to do was barricade the door with something. Somehow I was not feeling safe in this place. I pushed some crate against the door and put on the hook lock from inside. If someone wanted to get in, they had to make some noise. The second thing I had to do was eat something. I had enough provisions here inside my backpack. After breakfast or lunch, I had no idea how long I was sleeping. The third thing was to shut down that computer. I was just about to click the shutdown button when I saw a new text file. "What you are looking for is not here. We do not need anyone getting in our way. Leave this place." I was sure somebody did not want me here. Did they wrote that message while I was sleeping? I did not want that question answered. I will not go anywhere. I will wait here for my friends to return, tell them what happened, show the documents and messages, and maybe when we leave I will never see or hear of this place again. The time passes slowly, still no sign of the group coming back. What is taking them so long? The worst part was the headache was coming back again. I opened the door to look around the area around the house, hoping I will see someone coming. There was nobody. It was almost dark outside. I looked at the clock on my PDA, 6:30 in the afternoon. Did I really spend the whole day inside that house? Maybe I have. After all, I have no idea at what time I woke up. I felt exhausted, but not hungry. The headache was getting worse. What is happening to me? The place was not radioactive. We checked carefully the other day when we arrived here. It is not the food. We have been eating the same things for months. There were no anomalies around the building. Maybe I just need some rest, and everything will make more sense in the morning. The loudest gunshot woke me up in the middle of the night. I jumped up, grabbed my rifle, and looked around. I was alone in the basement. Suddenly a second gunshot echoed. It was coming from outside. At this moment, someone kicked the door from outside with such force. 2 more gunshots banged as if the shooter was standing inside the corridor on the other side of the door. Whoever it was, he or they wanted to get inside. I aimed my rifle at the door, waiting for them to enter. after 3 more kicks at the door, everything went silent. I had no idea how that door held up such powerful kicks, but I am thankful it did. I waited in the middle of the room for a while, for something to happen. Nothing. All I could hear was the quiet buzzing sound of the computer. Didn't I turn off that thing last night? Maybe I have forgotten after reading the message. Was there even a second message? If it was left by the guy who was here a moment ago, surely he would have killed me. I went to the computer to have a look. To my horror, the text files were now 3. I opened the new message and I read, "What we seek, we will find. The guilty will be punished. This is a final warning. Leave." I have had enough. I packed up everything and I was about to leave. Hopefully I will meet my friends at the bar. When I was exiting the basement, I saw the group coming towards the building. I waved at them and moved quickly in their direction to meet them. When we joined, I asked what took them so long and what happened on the way back. Coin looked at me and even dared to joke about their 3 days delay. "The zone does not have public transportation," he said. "Why were you gone for 3 days?" I asked. They looked at me in shock, as if I had lost my mind. "What 3 days? We were gone for 5 hours." "Impossible," I said. They convinced me to go back to the basement. I explained what had happened while they were away. I looked at the time and date on my PDA. They were right. They really were gone for around 5 hours. Why did I see the time and date change when I was alone? I felt like it was 3 days. The door of the basement looked intact, like it was never kicked or shot at. But here is the strangest thing of all. There was no electricity connected to the building. The light bulb did not work. The computer on the table looked damaged beyond repair, covered in thick dust, except for the mouse and some buttons on the keyboard I have touched. After telling them what happened, they agreed with me that it is best to leave this place. When we were leaving, I kicked a small metal object in the corridor. I picked it up and pointed the flashlight at it to have a better look. It was a shell casing from a very powerful rifle, a 7.62 by 54 shell. On the floor there were 3 more. No need to say they were not there when we first came. Despite the 50+ kilograms in the backpacks, we moved as quickly as possible through the zone towards Vostok. The zone at night with all its mutants and anomalies is much better than what might have happened to us in that building. Was there really food experiments in that place? Did I accidentally ingested some of the chemicals which were mentioned in the documents? Were there even any documents? What happened to me? Was that some psi-emission hallucination? Who or what is sin? What are they looking for? What do they hope to find? Why did they leave a warning message? These are some of the questions I hope no one will find the answer to. My advice from that whole experience is, some secrets of the zone are better to be left alone. Some places are not worth visiting. That should not discourage you to visit new places in the zone, but remember, if it is on the map, someone discovered the place before you. Prepare yourself for anything that might be there before you go inside.